The price of smartphones seems to be coming down and down, in fact even more affordable by the day, and it's always amazed me what money can buy in terms of technology. This is the NUU Mobile M3 and it's a budget price smartphone. I'll tell you about the pricing in a short while, that comes in at a fantastic price with a fantastic specification as well. And it makes me wonder why people would buy sort of like an everyday smartphone that's going to get thrown around a bit, maybe a bit of rough treatment, or maybe given to a younger user, and pay ridiculous amounts of money. I'll run over the specifications very shortly in full detail, but just to give you an idea of where this comes in, this has got a HD screen, 5.5 inches. So it's not like full HD, it's 1280 by 720, but it's still a very nice quality screen. It looks nice to me, and the actual colour is nice and punchy. The off-axis viewing angles is more than acceptable. It's also got a quad-core processor. It's got 2 GB of RAM, 16 GB of storage, and you can further expand that with a micro SD card. It's also got a quad-core processor, and it's running Google Android version 7 out of the box. On the front we've got a 5 megapixel camera, and on the rear we've got an 8 megapixel camera, and I'll talk to you about how they perform in a short while as well. So before we move on, a big thank you to everyone who's tuned in to this video. I really do appreciate it. If you want to check out where you can pick up one of the NUU Mobile M3s, then there is a link to both the NUU Mobile website and also a link to where you can actually purchase this for yourself, so please do check that out. And I'm also going to be taking some questions a little bit later on, so if you have got any questions at all, please do leave them in the live chat. If you want your question highlighted, we've got the super chat there as always. And if you're watching this after the event, so if you're watching this not live when it's gone into the archive on the Geekanoids channel, do feel free to leave me some comments as well. I answer as many as I can. So before I talk to you about my opinion on this smartphone, let's take a more in-depth look at some of the specifications. So as I mentioned before, it's running Google Android version 7 out of the box. We've also got a MediaTek 1.3 GHz quad-core processor. It's got a 5.5 inch IPS panel, which is really impressive at this price point. As I also mentioned before, the resolution is a lower 1280 by 720 resolution, but that helps with battery life, and even on this size screen, which is quite large for that resolution, it's more than acceptable. The rear camera is 8 megapixels. It's also got a flash, autofocus, panorama and burst modes, and it supports live photos. Again, really impressive at this price point. We've also got a front-facing 5 megapixel camera, again with autofocus. Normally front-facing cameras are fixed focus on smartphones, and it captures HD video, so not full HD, just HD video. The speaker is 0.5 watt. I'll talk to you about the quality of the speaker in a short while, but again the actual output is plenty loud enough, and this is all backed up with a 3200 milliamp hour battery. Again, a really good rating of battery in this price point for this specs. Easily gets you a full day of use between charges. Built-in storage is 16 gigabytes, RAM 2 gigabytes, and you can also add a micro SD card up to 128 gigabytes as well. Dual SIM support, really impressive. Bluetooth and Wi-Fi as we'd normally expect. FM radio and GPS, and really good dimensions as well. Also worth noting, inside the box you can see the included items here. Apart from obviously the smartphone and the battery, we also get USB data cable. We also get a power adapter, screen protector as well, and a microfiber cloth and quick start guide. So everything you need inside the box to get you up and running as you'd expect with a smartphone. Before I talk to you about my impressions, I will give you a very quick look at some of the accessories. So this is obviously the front of the box, so you can see what this looks like. Nicely designed box. We've also got a quick start guide inside this pack. I'm not going to take it all out, but also included is a screen protector, as I mentioned before, and that's really nice to see because again, a screen protector is really good to put on any smartphone. I said it many times, it's much cheaper to replace a screen protector than a screen on a phone, so the fact you get one included is really good. We've also got the little SIM eject tool there as well. We've also got a power adapter. Now inside the box, this is a European model, you get a European 2-pin adapter. This is a review product, but if you buy this in the UK, you should get the 3-pin UK USB charger, and it's one of these compact ones, so when you're traveling you can put this 3rd pin down. It just makes it a lot more compact to travel around with. Not included in the original purchase price, which I'll come on to very shortly, there is also a case available specific for the M3, so they do make this. It's well worth picking up this at the time of purchase. So now let's talk about the smartphone itself. On the back here we have of course got the camera, the 8 megapixel camera. Let's take a look at some of the photos on the camera as well. You can see here we've got controls for various aspects of the phone. We can pop into some that I've already taken. This is the selfie that I took. Now it's a little bit washed out. It's not the best performing front facing camera I've seen, but it's perfectly acceptable for the occasional photo. If we take a look at the other photos I've taken, these are a bit better. These are with the rear facing camera. This is of my shelf behind me here, and again the colour rendition's really good. There is a little tiny bit of noise in the photos, but overall really good performance. Here we can see really accurate colours, nice amount of detail, and just a little bit noisy. I would say you're going to have to put a lot of light on the subject that you're taking the photo of to get a good result, but again at this price point, more than acceptable. Mentioned also we've got the 5.5 inch screen. It is a really nice screen. I've got it at its lowest brightness at the moment, off axis viewing angles, really good, but you do get that colour shift. There is a colour shift, as you can see there. It goes from light to darker off axis, but it is a decent quality panel. It is an IPS display. We've also got these touch buttons or touch icons off screen, so not on the screen. These are in the bezel at the bottom, and of course the earpiece and the front facing camera there. We've also got a 3.5mm audio jack on the top, speaker on the bottom, and microphone, micro USB charging port, and then we've got the power button and the volume rocker on the right hand side, and then on the opposing side we've got the SIM tray, which you can either use for dual SIM or you can use it for a single SIM and a micro SD card to expand the memory. So you've got that option of either dual SIMs or one SIM and the expandable memory, not both. So do bear that in mind. But the dual SIM feature on here is really good. Good to have, especially if you travel a lot. Very, very useful indeed. Now the glass is slightly curved at the edge. It's got a really nice design to it. Very, very nice sort of curvature to the sides. Really comfortable in the hand. Doesn't dig into the hand at all. Just a very, very comfortable phone to hold. And the build quality, again, far exceeds the price point, which I'll come on to shortly. With regards to actual performance, well, transitioning between screens, opening up the app tray, running apps, etc. is very, very smooth, and that's obviously thanks to the lower resolution screen. I don't think you'll have any complaint at all with regard to the performance. The fit and finish also feels really good as well. Feels like a nice quality, solid feeling smartphone. With regard to battery life, and again I mentioned because of the lower res screen, it's not having to run as many pixels, and also due to the quad-core processor rather than octa-core processor, the battery will give you at least a day between charges, if not a day and a half, maybe even stretching out to 2 days between charges if you're a low to medium user. I think it's a really rock solid offering if you're looking for a budget end smartphone. Now let me tell you about the price. Now in the UK, the official price of this is £129, and that's for a SIM-free, no contract, unlocked smartphone running Google Android version 7 with really decent specifications. Yes, the camera isn't up to flagship standards, and yes, the performance isn't going to play really graphic intensive games, but for getting things done, this is a really good choice. Who would I buy this for? Well, I would buy this either as a second smartphone for myself, maybe a backup smartphone, or a younger user. Somebody who's going to be out at class all day, in the playground during breaks, maybe a slightly older student as well, that you don't necessarily want to have a flagship smartphone, but something for communication, social media, being able to take photos, post them to Instagram, Twitter, etc. browsing the internet, access to emails. This is ideal for something like that. Even for media consumption, watching back YouTube videos, really good quality speakers on this for the price point, and a really enjoyable media consumption device. So for watching back videos and listening to music, this is more than acceptable, because although you're looking at the screen all the time when you're watching videos, you don't really notice the 720 resolution. And when you're listening to music, you more often than not don't even have the screen on, and the quality that comes from the included earphones, you do get earphones inside the box, from the 3.5mm audio jack is really very, very good indeed. So this is the NUU Mobile M3, a budget choice that really amazes me. I've said this in many videos. How do they do it at this price point? I'm really very, very impressed. So anyway, let's move on and take a look inside the chat. A big hello to everyone who's tuned in live. I was not ignoring you. I just wanted to cover off my opinion of the NUU Mobile M3 before I moved on to the chat. Hello to Raymond, to Ronilo, to Sumyu, also to Life's Life and Morgan Wright and Gina M. Thanks very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Raymond Moore says, cheap or expensive phones, they all do the same thing. Cheap phones these days have gotten really good. That is a very, very true statement. This is a really good phone that you're getting for £124. I've seen it at its cheapest. Regular price £129. I've seen it about £5-6 off on Amazon if you check those links down below. For that sort of price, you are getting a heck of a lot for your money. I talked to you about this in my OnePlus 5T review, that you could buy 2 OnePlus 5Ts for the price of an iPhone 10. You could buy 9 of these for the price of an iPhone 10. 9. So imagine this, if you've got somebody who's really clumsy, who breaks their smartphone a couple of times a year, you could buy 9 of these for the price of one iPhone 10. Now, admittedly, I would be stupid to say the iPhone 10's camera isn't better than this, because it is. And of course, the iPhone 10 screen is better than this, even with the notch. But for this sort of money, this is a really, really wise choice. So anyway, that is it for my review of the NUU Mobile M3. If you're in the market for a budget Google Android phone that comes with a screen protector, really good specifications, a 1.5 to 2 day battery life, then I think this is a very, very wise choice. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to tune in again tomorrow for more content on the Geekanoids channel. Have a fantastic day and evening wherever you are. I'll see you again